Hi everyone, my name's Olivia Chen. I'm 42 years old and I haven't spoken a word out loud in 23 years, until today. I grew up in San Francisco, the only child of Chinese immigrants. My parents worked 16-hour days at our family restaurant, scraping together every dollar so I could have opportunities they never had. By 18, I was headed to Juilliard on a full scholarship for vocal performance. Opera was my life. Everyone said I had a voice that could fill cathedrals. My vocal coach called me Little Songbird, said I'd be at the Met by 25, and I believed him. The summer before Juilliard, my parents finally closed the restaurant early to celebrate. First time in 15 years. They were so proud, you know? Mom made all my favorites, her famous dumplings, the ones she'd taught me to fold since I was tall enough to reach the counter. That night, driving home from dinner, a drunk driver hit us head on. He walked away without a scratch. My father died instantly. My mother lingered in the ICU for 11 days before her body gave up. And me? I survived with a crushed larynx and severed vocal cords. The doctors did everything they could, but after 6 surgeries, the verdict was final. I would never sing again. I would barely be able to speak. My scholarship vanished. My future evaporated. And the worst part, I couldn't even scream. After the funeral, I found myself alone in our empty restaurant. No family in America. No insurance to cover the medical bills, just crushing silence and debt. I sold everything, paid what I could, and took a job washing dishes at a hotel. The manager took pity on me, didn't mind that I couldn't talk. For years, I lived in a fog. I carried a notepad everywhere, wrote instead of spoke. People either treated me like I was stupid or avoided me altogether. Dating? Forget it. Who wants someone broken? In my darkest moments, I'd lock myself in my apartment and try to force sounds from my ruined throat. All that came out were these horrible, strangled noises that didn't even sound human. I'd cry silently until I fell asleep. Then, 8 years ago, I got a job at an elementary school as a janitor. Late hours, minimal interaction, perfect for someone like me. But one night I found this little boy hiding in a classroom after everyone had gone. 6 years old, terrified, refusing to go home. His name was Marcus. Turns out he was being bullied because of his stutter. The other kids called him Broken Record. He was hiding because he'd rather sleep at school than face another day of torment. I should have just called someone, but something in his eyes, I knew that look. So I sat down and wrote him a note. I told him about my voice, how it was taken from me, how I'd give anything to stutter, to speak at all. That kid looked at me with these huge eyes and said, "But you don't need to talk to be heard." Then he took my hand and put it over his heart. "I can hear you in here." Something broke open inside me that night. The next day, I started learning sign language. Then I volunteered at a center for traumatic brain injury survivors, people who'd lost their voices in different ways. I went back to school, became a speech therapist, if you can believe that. Someone who couldn't speak, helping others find their voices. For the past 5 years, I've run a program for children with speech disorders. Marcus is 17 now, still stutters a bit, but he's headed to Stanford next fall. Pre-med. 3 months ago, a new surgical technique was developed in Sweden. Experimental, dangerous, but promising. They rebuilt my vocal cords using tissue from my own body. The doctors warned me it might not work, that I might never speak, let alone sing. After the surgery, the healing, the therapy, I discovered I could make sounds again. Not my old voice. That's gone forever. This voice is rough, limited. I can't hit the high notes anymore, but it's mine. Tonight, I'm going to sing for the first time in 23 years. Not an aria or anything fancy, just a simple lullaby my mother sang to me as a child. The last thing I heard her sing before the accident. I'm not here to win. I'm here because somewhere, someone is sitting in silence, believing their voice doesn't matter. Maybe they're being bullied, or they've suffered a loss, or their body betrayed them. I want them to know that being heard has nothing to do with how loud you can shout. Sometimes the most important voices are the ones that were almost lost forever.
Chained to memory stage, where echoes bright fell shattering in the endless night. Little songbird, the name feels strange, lost in the crash of life. One long time, sirens cry, took the music from the sky. This rebuilt voice, a fragile sound on broken ground. New hope is found, not the cathedral highs I knew, but whispers strong and brave and true. For every heart afraid to speak, a quiet strength for the worn and weak. This scar remembers, this still will try to sing love's simple lullaby. No packed pages, my only friends, in a muted world that never ends. Washing dishes, unseen, unheard, avoiding eyes, avoiding words, just strangled sounds in empty rooms, chasing away the gathering glooms. Who would want someone incomplete? Silence bitter, rarely sweet. This rebuilt voice, a fragile sound on broken ground. New hope is found, not the cathedral highs I knew, but whispers strong and brave and true. For every heart afraid to speak, a quiet strength for the worn and weak. This star remembers, this still will try to sing love's simple lullaby. And Marcus came with eyes so deep, shared despair, secrets to keep. Broken record, they called his name. I saw my own reflected pain. He heard the heart behind the wall, taught me that silence speaks to all. Signed confessions, therapy's art, mending voices, mending heart. Tonight I stand, fear takes hold, a story whispered, brave and bold. For silent souls in shadow places, see the light on different faces. This simple tune, my mother's grace, the last sweet sound in time and space. My voice is here,